I may be able to help you out a little bit.
How did you find this? I'm not gonna cry.
What's going on, guys? Wade here. I'm picking up Katie. She's her family's historian. The thing that we've got going on today is that she's got some major roadblocks in this story. So we're gonna go out and visit some of her relatives in the cemetery and learn a little bit about who they are. What got you started in wanting to know about them? You've told me about that you enjoy it.
I actually started first with my enjoyment and love for cemeteries specifically, and genealogy kind of just came with that.
Yeah.
I have always been sort of interested in my family's history, but
Right.
a lot of it was just like word of mouth that we talked about.
Yeah.
So I just kind of took that as it was, and I never really like dug deep into it.
Yeah.
But it really was the headstone cleaning, the headstone restoration, and conserving that got me into genealogy and wanting to learn about the people buried below the stones. Now I have a ton of trees on Ancestry that aren't even related to me. I have lost both of my grandparents on my father's side, the side that I'm struggling to fill in the gaps with.
Yeah. As soon as you lose a generation like that,
Yes.
there's a lot of stories. I spent time.
I'm very interested to see where the Dorado side came from.
Yeah.
I know that we were in parts of Naples, Italy. I'm not sure if that's only where we were. My second great-grandfather, Michael,
Yep.
and his brother Emilio came over together to the United States from Italy, and the immigrant papers say that they came over from the port in Naples,
Okay.
but that they were their hometown or their place of residency in Italy was San Pietro, for the first time on a ship called Bolivia.
Bolivia? Okay.
From the Naples, Italy port.
Cool. Katie, you told me that the last name started to be spelled differently at some point in time. This is D-I-R.
Yes,
You're D-E-R.
correct. What happened there?
What happened?
From what I've been told and what I can find is children of Michael and Catherine, some of them decided to change it to D-E, possibly to Americanize it, and some of them kept the traditional D-I.
Interesting. Do you know where the photo's from?
I don't, but at my parents' house, they have the full photo.
Yeah.
It would be Michael and Catherine and their children. And then it also includes one of the children's wife. So all the pictures that were photoshopped together were all from different times, but in times of closer to adulthood.
So it's not even all consistent across ages.
No. You can tell that it was like the youngest the picture was taken or the picture was grabbed from when the youngest was still relatively young.
Right.
And then pasted all together to make a big family photo.
Oh.
It's massive, it's huge.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
What have you explored to try and break through some of these roadblocks?
I've used Ancestry and other programs to try to find things over in Italy.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm having a hard time.
Right.
Is I'm using his traditional spelling for first and last name. I've tried alternative spellings, and I cannot find anything prior to Michael and his brother Emilio coming over to the United States.
So their departure date, do you know that offhand?
The first arrival date is May 1894, and that's when they came over on Bolivia, the ship Bolivia. With those records, I cannot find that he was already married. And it seems that his wife was already living here separately. They met in the United States.
Okay.
But two of the children are said to have been born in Italy. But there is a second arrival date that I could find that matched Michael almost to a T in 1899.
Okay.
And that is actually the same year that one of their daughters, Anne, was born.
And how many children did they have?
Stephen, Jerry, Anne, Sullivan, August, and Pauline. So they had 6 children.
Okay.
So 6 children, 2 of them supposedly were born in Italy
Uh-huh.
and the rest born here in Geneva.
Interesting.
Yes.
I may be able to help you out a little bit.
Oh God, this is an Italian.
So what you're looking at is your great-great-grandfather's
Mm-hmm.
birth certificate from San Pietro in Italy.
Wow.
The date on that is November 18th,
Mm-hmm.
1865.
Okay.
You'll note that this is November
16th.
16th. His birth certificate is dated November 18th because he was presented to the town official, the civil registrar, on the 18th. And he was presented as being born 2 days prior.
Wow.
So he came and was presented to the registrar at 1 p.m. November 18th. That's what it says on there.
Wow. That's crazy.
He was born 2 days prior at 11 a.m. on the document.
Yep.
Of course, it's a birth certificate, and so it's going to have other information. Giuseppe, his dad.
Yeah, that would be. Who was his mom?
Great question. Apollonia,
Oh, yeah,
or something like that, Martone. Giuseppe, the father, was 36.
Okay.
Mom was 30. Now, because he was born in November, that gives us a little bit more information as to the year of their birth, because this is already halfway through November, so we only have about a month and a half. So if
Right.
they indicate that they were age 30 and 36, going to have a high likelihood of being able to get a birth year for them. Giuseppe was a farmer, and in order to go and make an attestation, they had to bring the baby to the registrar. So they took a 2-year-old baby with dad and 2 neighbors, because the neighbors had to attest to all of this. So they came with, their names are listed there as well. They were also farmers. They signed on the birth certificate by way of the city official. They did not read or write themselves. It says that on there. It indicates that they didn't write, so that the city made the attestation on their behalf. It also says that the registrar, the city, sent a note to St. Michael's Parish at the same time, and they confirmed baptism on the 18th. So the same day that they were presenting Michael to the city, they also took him to the town parish, the priest, to be baptized. So his baptism date's listed there as well.
How did you find this?
There's more. Giuseppe, the father, because of the way that the Italian documents are written, there's a name that's listed, but sometimes it's so-and-so son of or daughter of. Giuseppe's dad is Angelo. Giuseppe is listed as Giuseppe Dorato, son of Angelo Dorato. So now you have another generation. So you have 2 additional generations that are there. Again, the way that the documents were written and stored, they were added on to with time. So the baptism was included on there. Their marriage is also listed. So we have record within that document from the city of San Pietro of March 20th, 1890 to Caterina.
Interesting.
So they were married
They were.
and they had children before they separated and left before being reunited.
Wow.
And they were married locally in the town that they were both from. They grew up in the same area. But wait, there's more.
There's more.
Because there's a marriage indication in here, and because of the way that names presents, you have Giuseppe, the son of Angelo, but with the marriage record that's indicated for her, for Caterina, she's the daughter of Nicola. There isn't a last name other associated with it. We can make an inference.
I know who you're talking about.
Okay. So you know, so that tells you. So everything that I've shared with you is there in Italian on that document.
I had kept coming up with Nicola as her father, but I couldn't confirm that it was her.
Yeah. How did you come across that?
Just every time I would search different variations of her name, Nicholas and Nicola kept coming up,
Yeah.
but the dates never seemed to match enough that I wasn't confident
Yeah.
that it was her. I thought maybe it was a brother
Yeah.
or something, but
You've got a few doors unlocked, and
Yeah.
now there's lots more information where you can continue your family's journey.
wow, cannot believe you found this.
Yeah. So the Gerardo family continues in San Pietro in Italy.
The name was spelled like that.
Hmm.
That's actually unbelievable to me.
It was not spelled like this.
No,
It was spelled like this.
that's what I
Yes.
mean.
It was spelled D-I-R. Yes.
ADDO.
Yes.
So they didn't change it all that much. I was worried that they changed it a ton.
Yeah. That's how it was for generations there.
Wow.
And I'm sure that being in Italy, it was consistent for a long period of time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you've got some work to do.
I have a
To
lot
learn
of
a
work
little
to
bit
do.
more.
I have a lot of work to do.
Yeah, you do.
Now I understand why you wanted to take me here.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm very overwhelmed. That is so interesting that the dates never lined up to make it seem like they were married in Italy.
Yeah. Right, because you have immigration records that indicate that they traveled separately. But
Interesting.
I believe that is something that is a tradition in the Italian culture versus the American tradition of
Right.
taking on that. So
Right.
her maiden name was really just the family name. So even though she was married, she didn't take on the Dorado
on,
name,
right.
which would have been the tradition.
Right. And I think that's where I was getting confused.
Yeah.
My dad's gonna be really happy. There's so much more work to do now. Screw the house. We're going to Italy.